Hello everyone, this is S. Pravalika, Assistant Professor, Department of AIML, Aditya University. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss regarding managing unstable requirements and requirement elicitation. So let us start with today's lecture. At the end of this lecture, student will be able to explain about managing unstable requirements and also they will be able to explain requirement elicitation. So first one, managing unstable requirements. Managing unstable requirements are a common challenge in the software development. Agile methodologies are designed to embrace and manage this instability rather than fight against it. So simply, managing this unstable requirements is the most common challenge that is existing in the software development. Agile methodologies are designed to embrace and manage this instability rather than to fight this. So we are having agile methodologies which was designed to embrace and as well as to manage this inability. Next one, strategies for managing unstable requirements. So here we are having some strategies to manage this unstable requirements. So let us see the strategies. So first one, embrace change. Acknowledge that requirements will evolve. Agile's iterative nature is specifically designed for this. So simply to understand the statement as nothing. So acknowledge that requirements will evolve. So we already know that Agile is having one strategy, that is nothing but acceptance of the requirements in the middle or else adapting the modifications in the middle of the project. So simply this is nothing but embracing the change, accepting the requirements in the middle of the project. And the repetitive nature of Agile is specifically designed for this. Next point, prioritization. Continuously prioritize that product backlog based on current business and urgency. So simply we need to prioritize product backlog. So based on the urgency and as well as the based on business value. If the requirement changes, priority might shift. So if we are having any change in the requirement, then the priority also will get shifted. So next point, small incremental deliveries. So delivering small functional increments of the product allows for early feedback and reduces the risk associated with large unvalidated requirements. So what was happening? So simply if we are delivering the things in a small incremental ways, so then we can reduce the risk associated with the large unvalidated requirements. So delivering small functional increments of the product allows for the early feedback. So if we are delivering the product or else if we are delivering the features and a small number, then simply we can get an early feedback and also we can reduce the risk associated with that. Next one, just-in-time elaboration. Instead of detailing all the requirements upfront, Agile elaborates the requirements just in time for the current or upcoming sprint. So simply what it was happening, so instead of going for the all detailed requirements upfront, so Agile is just giving the just-in-time elaboration for the upcoming or else for the current sprint. So nothing but just-in-time elaboration. So instead of going with the details, simply we are just going with the just-in-time details. So this is regarding managing the unstable requirements. So let us see the next one, requirement elicitation. So requirement elicitation is the process of gathering and defining the requirements for software system. So elicitation is nothing but gathering and defining the requirements of a software system. And next, activities involved in this requirement elicitation. So requirement elicitation activities. Requirement elicitation includes the subsequent activities and a few of them are listed below. So here we are having some list of activities specified. So let us see those activities. Knowledge of overall area where the system is applied. So simply we need to have the knowledge of overall area where the systems are going to get applied. So the next one, details of precise customer problem where the system is going to be applied must be understood. So we need to understand the customer problem. So the details whatever he is mentioning, so we need to have a clear picture of those things. So details of the precise customer problem where the system is going to apply must be understood clearly. Next one, interaction of the system with external requirements. So we need to have an interaction of the system along with the external requirements. So interaction of the system doesn't indicate that we need to communicate with it, but we need to understand whatever the things involved. Next one, detailed investigation of user needs. So whatever the user suggestions, whatever the user requirements or else whatever modifications the user suggests, so everything must be detailedly investigated. Next one, define the constraints for the system development. So what were the constraints that we need to develop the system must be defined clearly. So these were the activities in requirement elicitation. Next one, requirement elicitation techniques. So the techniques involved in the requirement elicitation. So first one, interviews. Second one, brainstorming sessions. Third one, felicitated application specification technique. Fourth one, quality function deployment. Fifth one, use case approach. So these were the 5 techniques in the requirement elicitation. So let us see in detail about them. So first one, interviews. The objective of conducting an interview is to understand the customer's expectations of the software. So simply, the objective for conducting this interview is to understand the customer's expectations for the software. Second one, brainstorming sessions. So brainstorming sessions is a group technique. It is intended to generate lots of new ideas, hence providing a platform to share their views. So simply, it is a group technique where it was intended to generate lots of new ideas. So to provide a platform to share their views. Next one, felicitated application specification technique. Its objective is to bridge the expectation gap. So the difference between what developers think they are supposed to build and what customers think they are going to get. So simply nothing but it acts like a bridge between the developers and customers. So the difference is the developers think what they are supposed to build and as well as the customers thinking what they are supposed to get. So its objective is to bridge the expectation gap between the developers and customers. So the next one, quality function deployment. So in this technique, the customer satisfaction is of prime concern, hence it emphasizes the requirements that are valuable to the customer. So simply, this is a technique where customer satisfaction will be the prime concern. So customer satisfaction will be given the highest priority. Hence, it emphasizes requirements that are valuable to the customer. So making priority towards the requirements which emphasizes the customer's satisfaction. Next one, use case approach. So use case technique combines text and pictures to provide better understanding of the requirements. So simply, it acts like a design. So where we are just combining the text as well as the pictures, which represents the flow of execution. So how it is going to get executed. So the use case describes what of the system and not how. So simply, it describes what regarding the system, not how it is going to get implemented. What is getting implemented will be described rather than how. So hence, they only give functional view of the system. So here we can get only the representation of the functional view of the system. And next one, the components of the use case design include 3 major things: actor, use case and use case diagram. So we are having many things in this use case approach. So among them, 3 major things are actors, use case and use case diagram. Next one, steps of the requirement elicitation. So in the steps of requirement elicitation, we are having 4 major steps. So the first one will be identify the stakeholders. Second one, gather the requirements. Third one, prioritize the requirements. And fourth one, categorize the feasibility. So these were the steps involved in the requirement elicitation. At the end of this lecture, student will be able to explain about managing unstable requirements and also they are able to explain about requirement elicitation. Thank you.